I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Georgie.
This might be risky sponsorship packages here. Have your ad run on our live streaming episodes, linked in the video description and attached to our many hot take clips. The channel is fast growing with thousands of views and subscribers. Don't miss your chance to grow your business on one of the fastest growing platforms on YouTube. Join the family today. This Might Be Risky. Email us at thismightberisky@gmail.com if interested. Hashtag Indeed. Hashtag Do the Right Thing.
Good, everybody.
What's goody here?
Happy Wednesday.
What's happening?
What's up?
Everybody doing all right? Calling me.
Yeah.
They hit the call button from the Facebook.
Yes.
Huh?
Bro.
Word, man. Word. I'm feeling good, man. I've been working from home. Taking naps and all that, man.
Shit like that.
How about you guys? How you guys been doing? How's Adrian? Good. Got him. He look tired, baby boy. What's up? You all right?
Yo, my wife was hating on me, bro.
Why she was hating?
Because she's supposed to, so I'm looking at flights for her to drop the kids off. So I'm like, all right, you can leave Wednesday, come back to Sunday. I got happy. So she was like, nah, I'm gonna leave Tuesday and come back Friday. So I could have my weekend. You know what I'm saying? She hating on me, bro.
Wow.
Damn, man. You brought that on yourself though. You should have not cracked a smile.
I shouldn't have said nothing, yo. Shouldn't have said
nothing. Sucked your teeth. Right. Yo, in that situation, that's when you act mad. Like, why you leaving for so long type shit. And then you be like, damn, I wish you didn't have to go.
Tell her that, she'll cancel her trip, yo. Oh, you don't want me to go? Okay, we can. You know what I'm saying?
No, because the kids still gotta go, so she has to go. Oh, so yeah. that's you play on that, and what you do is like, damn, I wish you had to go, but cross your fingers behind your back. Yeah. Then it don't count as a lie. You feel me?
Yeah, but it still ain't bad though. Because I get her for the whole weekend though, without the kids, so it's still gonna be good either way.
Yeah,
it was just the principle of it though. Like, yo, so you really just seen me about to have fun and tried to deny it? That's crazy.
Yo, man, shout out to Sweet Pea. Mary, what up though?
What's up, everybody? What's up?
What's up, man? You been drinking, your eyes kind of low and shit.
A little bit, but I'm good though.
You smiling so much. What you was drinking?
Tequila.
Gas station? Huh?
Tequila.
From where?
What?
What you say, Chef?
How you pronounce it?
Tequila?
That's not what
she's ain't you like Spanish or some shit like that?
Yes.
It said tequilas.
Whatever.
This was good.
Hi.
Why you look like you contemplating some shit? Who you thinking about beefing with?
I'm not thinking about beefing at all. Not today.
Chief, what up?
Coolin', partner. What's good with you?
Ain't shit, man. How was work and all that?
Fuck them kids. I ain't even going to work today.
Word is bomb. All sticks. Love was good.
What's up? How you doing?
Ain't shit, man. I like you been changing your hair up a lot lately.
Keep people guessing.
What's his name?
It's for me. It's called self-love. Love yourself. I do it for me.
I'm so glad you said that.
Date myself.
I'm so glad you said that. Chef was good.
What it do?
Ain't shit. Everything golden?
Everything smooth, man.
Indeed. Nay, welcome back. What fucking month is it? I can't tell by your outfit if it's hot, cold, or indifferent.
It's the fervor.
You got brown and red. What do you celebrate?
No, this is browns. It's chocolate browns, a little bit of burnt orange. little creme de la creme on here, you know.
Yeah, mute
It looks
your
hot,
mic.
Nay. I like it.
Mute your mic. Mute your mic. You was good.
Ain't shit.
You see, I got my shit on. You feel me?
Fuck with it.
I don't even fuck with Africa, but I'll wear this shit for you, man.
I appreciate you.
You know what I mean?
What you
All
mean
right.
you don't fuck with Africa? What? I'm confused.
I ain't no spear chucking Africa.
So let's see. Don't worry about it, Chief.
Hey,
All
to
right.
all my African brothers.
Save that for your personal time because listen here, once he gets started,
Chief, that's a rabbit hole, but we can go down it one day.
Get you some snacks, Charles. It's gonna be a long road, long bumpy road.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, Asia been down and she ain't come back. I had to go get her.
Oh please. Oh please. You know I stay ready.
She got her fucking boots smoked on that road. Shout out to Asia, man. All right, Asia. So you. I was contemplating this question, but your answer to the hair thing, I have to ask it. All right, let me share my screen. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Stay
All
ready.
right, let's do it. What'd you say, Asia? You stay ready, so you don't gotta get ready.
Yeah, man, that's how I live. That's my mantra.
I like it. All right. Y'all see the screen yet?
No. There it goes. We see it.
All right. So shout out to Lil Peep Network. I'm gonna play this clip. And pardon me, I gotta skip a little bit to play the whole like perspective and context.
Self-love. Whenever I hear a woman say self-love, that's a red flag. Listen, that is a red, purple, green, all combined together. That is a black flag. That is quite possibly one of the biggest flags as a man. When a woman says self-love, it is the biggest flag that you can listen. That flag is only trumped by her telling you that she had a train ran on her in college. That's the only other flag that's bigger than self-love. Self-love is quite possibly the death of a relationship. When a woman tells you that, get the hell out. Do not surround yourself with her. Don't talk to her friends. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just leave. Leave that hoe where you found her.
Can I give the definition of self-love?
No, we don't need a definition of self-love.
Because
It's
that's not what
toxic
self-love
and it's
is.
destructive.
Like when you
And
have
it's
self-love,
dysfunctional.
you're able to love your children properly. When you love yourself, you can love your partner properly. You can love
But with
your
no context is
If you don't love
dysfunctional.
yourself, you don't know what love looks
Hold
like.
on,
If you don't
Speak-
love yourself, you don't even know what love looks like. So before we just throw that word out there with no definition, I think
But without context,
important.
Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best
definition,
Know
the
the
context
definition
is
of
dysfunctional.
self-love.
That wouldn't
Just
self-love.
gonna keep
No,
talking.
the definition of self-love is whenever no one wants to love you because of your attitude and your character and your personality and how you don't devalue yourself in society, you tend to use that as a way to shield your
That's not what
insecurities.
There it is. There it
That's
is.
exactly
That's
what
the
it is.
context.
If y'all want to go with y'all,
It's a way to shield your insecurities to make you feel good about yourself because nobody around you can make you feel
Only
good about yourself.
time that a woman
Bullshit.
uses that term self-love is when she cannot hold down a relationship and she cannot hold down a man and her friends don't fuck with her. In most instances, 20 times out of 20, she is the problem. You know how people always talking about and they say
Man, that shit kind of heavy. Oh, that shit was kind of heavy. So let's assess self-love as it pertains to relationships. When women use it, let's assess self-love. Adrian, as the expert, I want to start with you. You're on mute.
Yo, I'm not an expert.
Well, in terms of your goddamn background, all that shit you went to school for, and y'all make minimum wage because they treat y'all like shit. They don't pay y'all enough. That shit.
Oh, but nah, I depend on what you do in the field. But so you asked me what the definition of it is, or based off of what he said?
Yeah, what you think?
Man, the way the nigga put it, it sound clean cut. Like it sounds about right for the majority of women. I will say that. And it's because, like, well, I'll let everybody else talk. I agree with him, though. I'm going to keep it short. I agree.
Okay. Anybody else?
I disagree with him.
I do too. And Mr. White can't explain himself. That's why you want to get talking points from somebody else. I can do this. Go ahead, Mr. White.
Okay, I have no problem with talking. I was trying to share the damn thing. You see, you can't even be nice, yo. Let me guess, you're working on your self-love, right?
Anton don't have self-love. He don't love himself. That's why he said. I can't pick a side on this topic.
Well, but the thing is, though, like, it's very
I can
selfish.
see his point of view, and I can see her point of view.
Oh, hold on, Adrian, complete your thought, and then Mary, since you're on the fence, I'm gonna wait on you. Go ahead, Mr. White.
What I was saying was that because it's very like selfish, and a lot of times with your feelings, they start with the way you feel about yourself, right? So a lot of people think that when they get upset in these different relationships, or it's something that they can't handle, they think it's the person. But in all actuality, it's related to feelings of how you feel about yourself. So if y'all work through that before you jump in a relationship, which will help if you go watch the last podcast when I told y'all to change y'all standards. So if y'all do that and couple it with that, y'all will be good.
Okay. Nay, you would first want to speak up after Mr. White saying you disagree. Go ahead.
Yeah, I disagree with the guy. I don't think that just because you say you love yourself, that means you're toxic or that's a red flag. No, you should love yourself first. That way you can love somebody else. You can't love somebody else until you love you. Love who you are on the inside and the outside, because then you're going to seek validation outside of the relationship. I see El Chef sitting there shaking his head. Cut it out. Cut your shit. Anyway, love you. Love yourself first, and then you can love somebody else. So yeah, I definitely disagree with him. I agree with the chick, whatever her name was. But Anton don't love himself. That's probably why he says that. He runs across women that probably say self-love because they're not interested in him.
Well, he's been married for 20 years and he's only 40.
Oh, well, then again, he's whatever. I still stay on
married and not.
I still stay on the fact that.
Well, if I give you additional
he
perspective,
don't love himself. Then
hold on. If I give you additional perspective, right, and you said he ran across women, do you have to retract that?
So I retract that part, but he still don't love himself. His wife loves him.
Why?
Because how can you even say something like that? Just because somebody says that I love me, like, so he needs validation in his relationship. He doesn't love himself enough. You should love you first before you can give that love to anybody else.
So, Hamp,
go ahead.
I unequivocally disagree with him, like without a shadow of a doubt. I disagree with what he's saying. I think what he's saying is toxic, and I think it's purposefully controversial. You have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. And I'm gonna even take it, so maybe you can understand it. The Bible says, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." How do you love someone else if you don't love yourself? You can't love others if you don't love yourself. And that's, taken from that perspective. Also, if you don't have self-love, then you're going to always seek external validation from somebody else. That's going to be a needy person. Self-love is making sure you don't put yourself in toxic, unhealthy situations. Self-love makes sure that you don't harm yourself emotionally, spiritually, and physically. When you self-love, you ensure that you're full and you don't need someone else to complete you. That does not cover up insecurities. It just ensures that you are a whole person when you love yourself first.
I'm so happy that we was on the same page, love.
And in the context of love your neighbor as you love yourself, in Mark 12:29, it's speaking about morality laws. So don't kill, don't steal, things of that nature. It's not actually like love how we see it, because that reference is referencing Leviticus 19. I just want to make sure people understand that when people say it, Jesus speaks in parables, so understand what it actually means there.
So I'm going to repeat what I'm standing 10 toes down on what I said.
No, I'm not saying whatever you said. I just want people to understand and get the right perspective when people refer to verses, because it matters.
Correct. So I'm standing 10 toes down on what I said. And the Bible says, love yourself, love your neighbors, you love yourself.
No, that's fair. I just want people to go read it so you can understand, right? Because you got to put here and there a little to get full understanding.
And make sure you get the study Bibles. Make sure you get all of that, and make sure you do your references as well.
I know. That's what I just told him. I gave him the reference. That's the point.
Perspective or interpretation. Get understanding for yourself.
Study Bible somebody discerned that and wrote what they thought.
It's an exposition. No. If you get Strong's Concordance, it
you didn't say that.
The one that I have.
You didn't say that.
It's a part of
you said Study Bible. You didn't say get a concordance.
Mine is all inclusive, and it has exposition.
You see how you keep going? You keep going that way?
Can we not go down this road, please?
Yeah, just stay there though, right? I just don't want people to misunderstand something. But yeah, your perspective can be yours, but I just want to give them the reference, right? So, Chef, I know you were kind of shaking your head back and forth when Miss Nay was talking.
Yeah, because the complete context was completely missed, right? We're not talking from a direct love yourself perspective. He was uniquely talking about, as I listened to that pod, he was uniquely talking about how women utilize self-love. And let me give a definition, because I know Mary's like, what you mean, Eddie? Right? Self-love, in that context, I've heard this many a time as a man that's dated for years. Just say, oh, I'm just finding myself right now. I need this time to grow and develop, right? And I'm looking, if this is different women, dated in New York, dated in DC, I'm just saying, okay, right? But in the back of my mind, your level of self-love and finding yourself is getting tossed around by a few different niggas. Right? You being out here and spreading your love, looking for a miracle, right? And I might have not been the guy to, spread that love for you in that instance. That's okay. That's okay. But I know when I hear a woman say, oh, self-love, I'm just trying to this and that, it usually comes with some BS behind it. And I'll give further context, like a lot of these women's empowerment stuff, it's all about self-love and this and that. And that's all bullshit, because a lot of y'all don't fuck with each other either. So when he was saying self-love, like, y'all definitions are correct if you're actually doing that type of work. But for the most part, women utilize that to run away from insecurities, to run away from accountability, like y'all always do, and that type of stuff. So,
anybody else want to comment?
I had a question.
Go ahead, Q.
I got a question for Love. Would you say that you're on some type of journey, a healing journey or a healing space right now in your self-love?
I think that I've come full circle. So I had to learn to love myself. And so when I learned how to do that, a lot of toxicity left. And if I could teach my younger self, then it wouldn't have taken so long. But yes, I think that I've started on it, have come to that level, and now I'm going to a higher level. And so to me, life is about levels.
Okay. The reason I asked that, and I wanted to get your take on it first before making the statement that I'm going to make, is because I feel like when a guy says, like that guy says, self-love is a red flag, it has nothing to do with you being a hoe or none of that other shit he was talking about. It's that I think men have difficulty taking on women who have baggage. So when you say self-love, the red flag for him is a woman who's on some type of healing journey. She's in a healing space and she may not be whole. So there he might end up dealing with some level of toxicity that he's not ready for. So I have to disagree with him in one part, but I do understand his perspective.
That's an interesting perspective, Q, because it's not like, now that I've done that part of the healing, it's not like I've shed that. Like it's a continuation. It continues, it perpetuates. The loving of myself is perpetual. It's not like I've learned it and then I stopped there and I put down. So the baggage is gone, the negative toxicity or unhealthy thought patterns are gone, but the self-love stays because that's a garment of mine, right? So it's just, to me, it's scary when a man thinks a woman loving herself is bad. That's a scary thing for me, because
that's
it's like
what
you want her not to love herself, so you can sit there and do whatever you want to. It's just, it sounds very dangerous to me.
And that's just again goes with you really have to listen past what somebody is saying a lot of times. So again, he did not once state you don't love yourself. He's, like you said, your self-love is a garment. That's the very thing that he said he does not want. A lot of women use self-love as some kind of cover-up.
Yeah, he says a red flag, purple flag, black flag. It's every type of bad flag, which I think is that.
I would agree. Because a lot of times this self-love shit is a trend. It's a trend right now.
But other time it's not.
But it is though. It is though. I've never seen so many women feel like they're on a healing journey, but still be so thirsty for niggas posting their ass on the internet. What? Self-love is showing your
shit
ass.
like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
There's
Shit like
levels of self-love, though. We have to understand there's levels to it. So she may be at the beginning of it. Others are at the later part of it. But anytime a person wants to love themselves, it should never be a negative connotation. That is.
It should. If more men were aware that it was a red flag, they wouldn't be marrying stupid bitches. Again, this comes with men standards of women. Somebody that's just self-proclaimed going through this self-love journey, again, that's trauma. Like you
So
said,
that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to love yourself to get past the trauma.
But he did not say nothing about loving yourself or lack of loving yourself. He said self-love. Self-love.
Loving yourself.
Like he said, it's a garment. It's something that self-love and loving yourself are not the same thing. Now, with self-love, do you learn how to love yourself? Yes. But they are not the same thing.
How are they? What's the delineation? Tell me the definition of each, please. Tell me some definition of each.
Loving yourself can only mean one thing, correct?
I would agree with that.
Right.
I'm asking.
It's under the umbrella of self-love. Self-love can mean many different things. Loving yourself is one thing only. Loving yourself. So how
self-love is the loving of yourself. I'm confused.
Self-love is taking care of yourself.
So wait, let me, Mary.
Mary.
Yeah, well, let me ask one question, Chef, and you can step in. So, Mary, just as an example, under the umbrella of self-love, would narcissism be under there?
No, not if you're loving yourself properly. No, I'm talking about.
So narcissism is the extreme love and vanity almost.
It's something that may have happened to you where you're trying to cover it up. You can have some kind of trauma related to it, which is causing you to be in a space. Like, for instance, every time I see a female break up with her nigga, she like, oh, I'm going to school and I'm focusing on myself and my kids. Because a relationship didn't work out. Why you didn't been doing that? Like, y'all laughing on that.
That makes sense though. Like, it's always like when you break up, you got to go do some more positive shit that should have been done.
That should have been done. Exactly. Which could, like Q said, could be a trigger for a nigga looking at it like, damn, she got a whole bunch of shit she dealing with. I'm not trying to jump into that.
Damn. That's interesting. What'd you think, Chief?
You're healed.
Yeah, hold on, Mary. Hold, stay right there, because you said a lot of points. I'm not. I mean, you act for once. You was saying some real shit. I'm proud of you. And not because it seemed like it sided with what the guys were saying on there, but just because I think it was crisp. Go ahead, Chief. I see you unmuted.
No, I agree. So I think I'm with Q on this one. Like I'm kind of on both sides. So when I first heard self-love, I'm thinking ain't nothing wrong with them healing themselves and trying to be better and so on and so forth. But then when he broke it down, I'm like, okay, I could totally see it from his perspective. And then when Mary puts it full circle, it's like, okay, it all makes sense now. So it's tough because when you as you know, doing the work yourself, like I've learned to at least adhere to perspective now. So when I first heard it, I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with self-love. Like, what's wrong with loving himself? But then when he defined it in the way he did, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I guess me being open to perspective now and seeing it, I can see it from both sides. If I had to pick a side, I think I'd go with the my initial process of loving oneself, because I do agree that like it's difficult to love someone else if you ain't loving yourself. But however, I do see the fuckery that comes with the umbrella of self-love for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Sis, you got anything on this?
I'm just a little confused because I think we just put a negative connotation on loving yourself. I think it's people working through their own insecurities and then trying to grow from it. I don't see anything negative about self-love. So that's where I'm confused.
So to Mary's point, I believe like the self, in that sense, sis, I think the self-love is coming from, it's a trauma response rather than some genuine, a genuine desire to love yourself. It's a trauma response. I broke up with my nigga. Oh, I'm about to go to school, about to get my degrees. Like, bitch, you should have been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Do what you should have been doing that.
She did. Okay, so what she didn't, but now she came at a point in her life where it's horrible. Like people are judged when they come to self-realization about something. And so
you're only looking at it from surface level.
Hold on. Maybe it took her 10 years longer than somebody else. So you're going to down her because it took her longer. But the fact that she's on that journey, why not be okay with that?
He said it's a red flag. He just saying stay away from her.
That's bullshit because y'all not taking that from niggas.
No,
how many times a female jump on the internet and talk about she don't want no mama boy? Y'all want that
That's
shit
not
to be
self-love. Mama's boy, two different things.
On y'all traumas, y'all want to be acceptable all y'all traumas as females a lot of times, but it's never okay for the nigga to have some kind of trauma. You're telling me
you said that before, Mary.
You're saying
no.
I didn't say. First of all, I never said anything was wrong with trauma. Now, or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that it's just negative. It's just negative. Like, yes, you're working. It's just like standards. If a dude come to you and he's still a mama's boy, right? Because he's trying to learn how to love himself and get out of that where he's no longer a mama's boy, are you still gonna accept him in? No. 9 times out of 10, no. Y'all don't want no mama's boy. There could be somebody that's healing. You're not giving everybody the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. You can't pick and choose.
But Mary, I think you're talking about some other shit. You're talking about the obvious, which he would be a mama's boy. Is he a mama's boy trying to work through it?
That's what she said.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If he's working through it, a lot of women aren't going to take that.
Most women tell men to go handle that first. They're usually tell men, go get healed and come back, right? That's usually the term we see now.
No. I don't agree with that. I think that we're all...
I think a lot of times, from what I see, and Chief, you would probably be the exception because I hear you speak very openly about it. Adrian, you in some ways as well. Y'all would be the exception. A lot of times niggas don't want to own the fact that they have some shit that they need to work through, which of them, these women don't have nothing to work with. So to your point, Mary, yeah, if that were the case, I could totally see a lot of relationships working out. But the problem is the niggas come in like they baggage free and the woman is the problem.
But what I'm saying is it's not a problem that he has that red flag towards women. I'm just saying it's not a problem. You can't automatically just feel like, oh, he's against the fucking world because that's just how he sees a red flag of his standard. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, just like you said, the whole red flag with doing this and doing that and not being healed.
Where she's at though.
A lot of times.
Hold on, let her finish the thought real quick. Go ahead.
Bottom line, it's okay for him to feel like it's a red flag. The same way if we look at a nigga that's not done cooking yet, that's a red flag. You 37, you ain't got your shit together. That's a red flag. It doesn't mean he's not self-loving himself and trying to get to where he at. You don't know what stage of his self-love he's in. But as women, you're gonna be like, nah, I don't want to deal with that type of nigga. He, come hit me when you got your shit together.
I feel like what old boy was saying though, like from his experiences, women have used self-love as a scapegoat.
As a cover-up. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like that's what homeboy was
saying. A popular way to do it. Like I see it on social media a lot. I think Mary is like hitting the nail on the head, and I think that Love and Sis kind of looking at it from a surface level. Again, nobody said that loving yourself is not an issue. Is you do what you do for yourself, that's cool. But from the outside looking in, man, and Mary gave a perfect example. Any dude that's not on his shit, women are just like, go get healed, go do what you need to do, address that. I'm not taking on your shit. It's the same way, right? Because the language being used, love, the language being used and the way in which it's portrayed as something that it's like, oh, I have to do all this, when in fact you should have been, I don't know, a responsible adult knocking those things out already, it looks like you are being fake. You're being disingenuous. Oh, I'm on a self-love journey because all my other shit didn't work out. Versus men, we're not allowed, and I've said this a million times, ever to make any excuses as men. Mr. White and Chief, y'all can corroborate that for me. Like, you have to be on your shit all the time, but we don't get that level of grace.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think.
But go ahead.
No, I say I do agree with you in that regard, Chef. But I think I've grown comfortable in the space of acknowledging that, like, I ain't got it all together, but we ain't supposed to say that. You know what I'm saying? So I think I've just grown comfortable in that space, I guess.
And with you being comfortable in this space, do you walk around saying I'm on this self-love journey?
No.
Because you're already comfortable in that space, meaning you cleared out any of that extra shit that's lingering that can affect somebody else.
I try. I'd like to believe I did, but until it's pointed out by the woman.
Nobody is completely clear of trauma. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, to an extent where it's not deflected on somebody else.
Yeah.
But he speaks about his shit very openly, though. He's not like the typical average dude who tries to act like he got his shit together. And it's the same thing. Maybe the language is different coming from a woman who uses self-love.
Thank you.
And it's been that a man who's been traumatized, kind of like the guy in that last video, sees that now as a red flag because he's dealt with enough women who has given him some type of negative experience. But when I hear a woman speak about self-love, I hear a woman who is coming into finding herself, who's trying to get out of a negative space that she's in to become a better version of herself. So
is it a red flag for you, Q? Like, you don't see that as a red flag at all, though, in that regard.
The self-love, no, I don't see it as any more of a red flag than you being transparent about the fact that you're working through some things. But there may be some women who may see what you do and how you've spoken on this show as a red flag because you're.
That's my next question. Is that a turn off? I mean,
that's her own trauma.
To each their own. With that
trauma.
So
there's some men that are just more open with it. Like you, Chief, you're just open with it. I think that's what Q's trying to say. You're just open with it. You're not using the actual words. I'm on a self-love, self-healing journey. But you are. You can tell by how you speak that you're on.
But is that a red flag for you, though?
No, it is not. For a non-toxic female, it is not a red flag.
So is this gentleman?
Go ahead.
No, did we label that gentleman toxic because he feels that way?
He said, if you rewind,
way of thinking.
He sat there and said, if you rewind what he said, leave her where she is at. That's what I'm talking about. Don't even talk to her is what he was saying. And I'm saying that's wrong. Because she is on her self-healing journey, just like you are, Chief, as a man. That is not a red flag. That is, you are healing through something. You understand, you identify, you acknowledge, and you see where you want to go. And there's a better way. That is.
But how many women are doing it the right way? How many women are doing it the right way?
So, all right, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Because the comments were totally lost. So he said it's a red flag. He's saying if you see a woman that's saying she's on this self-love tip or journey, she is dealing with trauma. Therefore, that is a red flag, and you don't want to deal with that. Right? That's what you guys are saying. That makes sense. Bruiser then came and said the second part of it, they use the self-love terminology to mask insecurities and to say they focus on themselves when really they got some shit with them and they're the cause of confusion in a lot of their relationships because they're not being as transparent as they saying they are. Like we have to actually listen though. Like we can't just say it's bullshit automatically. Because they didn't say a lot of the things that we even addressed. So I think it's kind of unfair to it. Go ahead, Chief.
No, I was just saying, so to your point, I think the difference would be that I think from his perspective, or just from mine, women are more likely to support us through that self-love phase than men are to support women through that. Makes sense? I mean, like, if Shorty hits you with the self-love thing, you like, whoa, red flag, I'm not here. But if you hit her with the same thing, she's like, well, let me help this brother through this. You know what I'm saying? Or what's going, and we can talk through this. I can work him through it. But the dude is like, nah, I'm not for that.
How does that conversation even look for the men? Is a woman saying, oh, I'm self-loving myself tonight. Like, how does that even look?
Like, what does that
I've never
mean?
heard that.
I think from his perspective, due to his experience, it comes off as like this overt trauma. Like I'm dealing with some, like, you know what I mean? Something comes up and he's like, nah, fuck that. I ain't got time for that. I'm not doing that.
He was just basically saying majority of the women that practice self-love are not really doing it. That's what he's saying. They're using it as a cover-up. And I witnessed it myself, where women are really not completely aware because it takes them 2 minutes to get in a relationship with another nigga after they decided to fix their life up after the last nigga. First of all, that self-love starts with yourself. But because
you're
it's
supposed
such
to move on after the last nigga, though, you're supposed to move on, and then the next nigga.
But if you're focused on self-love the real way, you're not worried about the next nigga.
That's not true. You keep it moving.
And it's not because it's not true to you, because a lot of people are not practicing it correctly.
That's
why
that.
You just keep it moving. That's part of life.
That's what it is.
That's that meme that niggas be talking about. Oh, I got me another king, bitch. What you playing, spades? Like when it happens like that, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. What Mary's saying, like, you break up with one dude, you claim this self-love tour, and you know, Christmas you got your picture up with him, but Easter it's a new nigga. You know what I'm saying? So hey,
you're still at home crying because he can't get his shit together.
It's just highly improbable that you got over and healed that quickly.
Right.
Yeah. Mr. White and then Love, final thought on this topic.
I'm gonna concede my time to Love because I feel like, you know, she has a lot to say.
Such a gentleman.
He is a nice gentleman. Thank you, Mr. White. I appreciate you. That's why you're my favorite. Until you piss me off again. So my ending statement on this. The fact that what?
No, just a timer. Go ahead.
Oh, I get timers now because B had a whole hour last week.
Final thought timer.
Love yourself, ladies. That's my final thought. Love yourself. If you are on this journey of self-love and learning how to love yourself and resolve unhealed trauma, who cares what the naysayers have to say?
You see how
you must learn how to love yourself before you can love anybody else. And if the naysayers, you should have done it 10 years ago, so what? Celebrate yourself because you're doing it now. Now is the time, and that's what matters.
Yeah, no. I personally don't think a woman can love herself unless a man loves her first. I also think that I love my kids and my wife more than I love myself. I don't worry about myself enough, right? I think that's my duty and responsibility. So that self-love shit, I think, is rooted in selfishness. So, you know, but we could talk about it. I don't know. Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Also, share the stream. Eddie, how many of those do you have, my nigga? Is that the same one?
Yeah, I bought the pack, my nigga.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Word. All right, let me share my screen. Y'all can see it?
Yeah. Oh shit, she light skinned.
Historically, women needed men because that's how the oppression structure was set up. We were hostages. We couldn't have credit cards, couldn't own property, couldn't vote, had no voice. Well, of course, we'd partner up with a man because we needed one so that we didn't starve to death because men used force to keep us under their thumb. Now, fortunately, things have evolved. And guess what? We don't need men. So if it comes to being in a relationship, it's a matter of bringing something to the table. And if what you're bringing to the table is a toddler-like mentality where you are running around, running amok, expecting a mommy and expecting some kind of subordinate, concubine kind of setup, no woman wants that. So of course you see so many men who are single because they've never realized that they need to actually be tolerable individuals. And as a result, they are single because nobody wants you. So of course, just like a job, if you want to actually do well and actually have the opportunity to have that, you need to develop the skills to be in a relationship.
She's single as fuck.
Wow.
Do modern women still look to men for leadership? Do modern women still look to men for leadership?
What's a
Absolutely.
modern woman? What's a modern woman?
Come on, sis. God damn it.
Who falls in that category? I'll be confused. I'm sorry.
You fall in that category. How about that?
I didn't hear what you said, but
You
whatever.
fall in that category by asking that question.
Oh, I do? Oh.
Yeah. With the strobe lights.
Shout out to nephew.
That's
Do
not-
modern women still look to men for leadership? I
not
guess
hard.
Nate, you want to go?
Yeah.
Q, you never go first.
I know.
No,
think
Q,
I like
she
to
never go first. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
I think that women do. However, men are not leading effectively. At least I don't think so. I don't think men are always leading effectively. So it makes it really hard to have that leadership role. So, like, cause men are y'all just do the most. Like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all do the absolute most. I personally don't feel like y'all lead effectively. So how can we look to you really for leadership? We want to, but I don't think that we can.
So the answer no.
I think.
I think we want to, but we really can't.
But is the answer no?
So the answer would have to be no, a no, I guess.
All right, cool.
Go ahead, Q.
No, I was gonna say. I think I knew what she was trying to say, which is
no,
which is what she said.
We want to,
which is what she said. No, that women would like to look to men for leadership. But I'm gonna just go out and say no. I don't think that was a hard question to really answer. I don't think that modern women look to men for leadership. I think the shit goes all the way back to the 80s. All them songs and shit that they had, no romance without finance and all that shit. And when women could go and get the bag for themselves, it was a wrap. When the government was coming in and helping out, it was a wrap. So it's like there's no where there's no need. They're not looking look to men for leadership for what?
Right, and that's why I feel like it's no, but I also feel like we don't look for it no more. Like how Nate said, like she feel like most women wanna look for it. I don't feel like we are now.
Yeah, I want it. And I've said this previously. I absolutely want a man to lead. I do. God knows I do.
But they can't, girl. Go ahead.
If he can't, then he can't. If he, like what Jill Scott say, if you can tell me what to do, you can tell me
what to do.
So I felt that in my soul, because a lot of men don't even really know what true leadership means. A lot of men, because they weren't taught properly, think leadership is lording power over someone else. It is not. And that's the problem. How can you lead if you don't know how to lead? How do you lead yourself? I want to know. Show me. Before you sit there and try to lead me, show me that you can lead yourself into a few different areas. But
men have to value themselves first. I'm sorry. Y'all don't value yourselves enough. That's why you can't lead effectively.
So we don't have self-love? What you saying?
Y'all don't have self-love, no.
But like, are you going
into it?
Are you going into it expecting that he's already not going to be a leader?
Absolutely not. Doesn't make any sense. I can't go in with the negative thinking the positive is going to happen. That makes no sense. I go in there.
Hold on. Mary, ask that question again.
I said, so are you going into it automatically assuming he's not going to be a leader?
And my answer is no, Ham, because you asked
I heard your answer.
I want to repeat it though, because you can't nobody can go in expecting and looking for a negative, expecting a positive. I just want to make that very clear. Nobody can do that.
Yes, I can.
But it's not, that doesn't make any sense. It's counterproductive. It's
Isha's comment, it would counteract that, right? I want a leader too. I think a lot of women don't allow men to lead. So I think there's a presupposition that comes with this.
Yep.
Right? Because the assumption is men don't know this, men don't know that.
And they
men can't do this, men can't do that. Those are pretty definitive statements.
No, but they don't allow them to lead because
Asia, you keep jumping in while somebody else is talking. So then you can't just not shake your head like somebody cut you off.
Because I want to get the floor to express my full thought for a full sentence and a full thought.
Well, I want her to ask that. I want to get the answers from the other ladies, and then you can expound. So, Mary, ask your question again.
My main question was, do you go into it automatically assuming that he is not a leader? Now, in regards to what Isha said right now, you are. You're not allowing somebody to lead because you haven't tried. Not saying that happens all the time. But what I'm saying is a lot of women are not going into it thinking, okay, let me think the positive this man could lead.
Yeah.
You cannot,
But Mary, no, good. But I want him to answer your initial question because we understand your sentiment. So sis, do you go in with the assumption that nigga don't know what he doing?
I know the nigga don't know what he doing half the time.
That was what Isha was saying. Like, there's a.
I mean, when you know though. So you gotta play a role, or that nigga gotta go. And you move on to the next. I don't know, but
So do you agree with Mary's point? Do you agree with Mary's sentiment?
I mean, no. I mean, sometimes you just know this nigga don't know anything. So, or he may know some things, but or
so then you agree with Mary then?
Yeah,
you saying so you agree with Mary then?
I don't even know what you asked me here, but I was just saying what I was saying.
Well, what you're saying aligns with what Mary's sentiment. That's the point. Nay, do you go in with a presupposition?
No, I go in thinking it's a man, he about to lead, and then over time I realize he ain't leading yet, and I be like this, I can't.
So now your stance is men can't lead and don't know how.
They don't know how.
From that one or two instances?
No, obviously I've been with men most of my life, so most of them could not lead. And I was like, oh my God, I want you to. I want to submit to you, and I can't.
So every time you went in assuming he could lead?
I'm sorry?
Every time you went to those relationships, you assumed he could lead?
I did. I assumed because I figured, you're a man. That's your job. That's your role. You're supposed to do that. So I go into it thinking that you can. And I see you can't even lead yourself. You make poor decisions with your own life. You don't love yourself.
Tag me in.
So how you leading me?
Okay. Q. Hi.
Fuck out of here.
I know you don't got a lot of experience with niggas, so
Go ahead.
Let me get Chef. Go ahead, Chef.
I'll start with Q's like historical reference, right? Like in the government providing women with opportunities to live without men and all these other things that have destroyed the black family overall. Y'all been kikiing and laughing about this shit, but let's be a little bit thorough about it, right? We're talking about men who can't lead, right? So you've had about 50 to 60 years worth of this independence. So you raised about 2 generations worth of men that can't lead. A lot of those men were raised by single women. So there's that, right? And then you step into it, and now, regardless of whatever man steps into your space, you already know that he can't lead. Well, you know he can't lead because he nor you have had male influences that have shown you true leadership. Right? So a lot of that, all of this is very empty-handed, right? So like back to Mary's point about you even having any type of trust in a man, you haven't seen what male leadership looks like in a healthy sentiment. You haven't had the chance to actually raise men who know how to do that or put them around other male influences where they can learn what it looks like to lead themselves, but also lead a woman into marriage, into a relationship, etc. Right? So those active examples haven't been seen consistently. And I think a lot of what entertains women is the fact that men can't do this, but it's just like when you look in the context, a lot of what men know today is a lack of masculinity and being able to lead in that sense, but it's largely because most of the influences are feminine. And that's not to call them effeminate. No, I'm not doing that, but it's like y'all are saying there's a lack of so much male leadership, but most of that leadership has been learned from y'all. So
I knew somebody was going to bring up government stuff. the government has stepped in and taken men from the homes a lot of times, and men don't want to be in a home. So it forces women to have to be in these
No,
leadership
that's
roles
subjective.
when we don't
That's
want to be.
subjective. That's subjective. When we know statistically, a lot of women keep men from seeing their children
Not all.
and utilize the system because that's why I gave it context initially. So it's like, y'all utilize it because that tool is there. And most women today prefer to be baby mothers as the actual mothers and wives. So they'd rather not even deal with a man because of that deficit view that they have of men already. So even before they begin to utilize that government tool, again, back to Mary's point, y'all already think he ain't shit anyway from the jump. And sis with the strobe light, she gave that example too. It was just like, yo, I already know he ain't shit. It's just like, this nigga ain't say but
We
2
already
words.
know, but I'm not saying we push him to the side or we put him down.
Now, don't say we, say
don't
I.
help them.
I, for your
Like I
choices
said,
in
I'm
bad
not
men.
saying we get rid of them, we toss them to the side. We know they can't leave because of they didn't have male figures. Like we know that. So we work with them, but until we can.
But a lot of women haven't had those same male figures. So y'all as jacked up as the men are that y'all don't want to entertain.
But we getting the
So should we not entertain them at all? Should we just say? Should we
The
just
way
say no?
that Nate just used self-love is the same way that other brother was talking about. That surface level bullshit.
I didn't hear
It's
what
just
you
like,
said.
I did.
Well, let me get. Go ahead, P. Let me get Chief in here. Let me get Adrian in here. What you think?
So first of all, I'm offended. One, just by the comment that men can't lead, I'm offended that us modern day men can't lead. I'm offended. Secondly, I was raised by a single woman. I'm super offended by that, but I'm willing to have the conversation about it. So before I even get into the dialogue, Nay, I'm gonna call on you because you were the first one to speak on the topic. What does leadership from a man look like? So I'm sitting back in the student seat right now, going, okay, you want a man to lead? Teach me what you want. What does it look like for you?
I want you to be the head of the household. I want you to be able to make decisions for our family that would say, okay, we should be in this position. Allow me to have a voice, yes, but be able to make decisions for the family, financially or just overall. And if you can't do that for me, it's like, okay, why do I feel like I have to be in the seat where I feel like I'm the one making the decision? I want you to be able to make a decision for our family that you feel like would be best to make our family grow and thrive.
Okay, so sis, in regards to the answer she just gave me, you said you walk into it off the rip like, nah, he ain't got it. I don't think a man can display or disclose those things in the very beginning. Doesn't that require time to be able to determine whether or not he can lead the family, he can make those decisions, he can balance the finances, whatever that case may be?
I mean, sometimes I've dealt with people that took a while. See, she's talking again. I can't even think.
I think sis overall has said that. She said that's why we work with those type of men. She said, yeah, I go into it like that, but I also work with those type of men.
Okay, so what does it look like for you, Mary? Leading if I sat down and said, Mary, I want to be with you, teach me how to lead so I can make you happy. What does that look like?
So with you being able to lead, I would have to be submissive. I know when we had a submissive conversation, a lot of women were not willing to be submissive. You are not willing, you're not going to have a leader in any form that it looks like. If you are not willing to be submissive, you are not going to have a leader.
Yeah, I missed the submissive conversation, and I get that. But what does it look like from my perspective? You saying, Chief, I need you to XYZ.
It's like you being able to have a plan A, B, and C already figured out. You being able to do things without me asking or without me telling you. There's a difference between teaching somebody certain things that they don't know and things like that. But overall, just you being able to just figure it out. Like, I don't have to worry. Like, being a leader to me is I can leave my house for 5 days and not speak to nobody and know that everybody is okay. You get what I'm saying? That's the kind of leader that I enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And Nate, how does it look, right? If he makes a poor decision and you standing back there like, see, I told you. That's what you get. Because that's what happens to men.
I give chances and opportunities. I've been there before for a long time and I got tired after a while. Like, we keep going down this path. It's tiring. But I give chances and opportunities for you to do, and I might use my voice to say, okay, well, how about we try this way? But I've dealt with some really narcissistic men that wouldn't really allow me to do that. So, after a while you get tired, it's like, yeah, I'm out.
What you think, Mr. White?
I think that for the most part, I think I'll say a large minority of women do look for men to. I think, as was proven here, I think they really don't know what it looks like, right? So a lot of times you'll be willing to follow him until he does a decision that you don't agree with or he fails. Everybody at the top has failed multiple times. But are you, if you're truly allowing him to lead and say, okay, I'm gonna rock with you, are you gonna put a limit on his failures? Then it's like you never was really with him to begin with. Or it goes back to when I was talking to y'all about y'all standards and y'all moving too fast. Like Chief was saying, y'all, it takes time to figure these questions out about men. But then you got the majority of women saying, nah, they probably gonna get it wrong anyway, like off the rip, like not even giving them another chance at all.
You're saying the minority of women or the majority of women do that?
That's the majority. But I think it's a lot the other way too, though. You know what I mean? I give like 55, 45.
That give opportunities and expect to be led?
Right.
45% of women do that, you're saying?
I feel like they do. That they go into it at least wanting it, but they don't know what it is. That's why they can't stay in it.
Oh, I think
the majority of women run around like sis, like, oh, nah, I'm not even gonna give you the opportunity.
But do you think that the majority of women's assumption is that this man can't lead, or he need to prove to me that he can lead?
Absolutely.
And then how do we prove it if they don't know what it looks like themselves?
That was my point.
But I do know what it looks like to lead. That's all my father did. So I do know what that looks like when a man can lead a household.
We're saying,
so
we're just saying the majority, like how the majority don't know what it actually looks like.
So I feel like love. I feel like love tonight. I just want to get my thought out. I just want to finish my thought.
Well, here's the thing. I said something. I wasn't finished with my thought. You jumped in. Y'all keep thinking when you jump in, you're supposed to usurp the conversation. That's not what's gonna happen. So if I'm talking, let me finish. That's the key.
How they dates be going.
Yeah, like you can't jump in on somebody and then expect them to just totally stop. That don't make sense.
I'm a victim.
Yeah, but like, just like, how do all these women know what it looks like? And then, but then is it? I just don't. How do you guys know what it looks like? Where are the examples?
Maybe it's just what we feel we want. It could be that some of us don't have necessarily the example. I've had minimal example, but I know what I've wanted. I just didn't get what I wanted.
But
for me, what leadership looks like.
But I feel like a lot of women don't know there's space in that for it to happen either. Like, I don't feel like you can know how you want a man to lead, but do you know your part in him being able to lead? Like, do you know what you have to do for him to be able to lead? And I think that's the part that a lot of women forget. It's not about how you want him to lead and what you want him to do for him to lead. You have to know your part and what helps him become that leader. Because before anything, he didn't have to worry about nobody. He didn't have to worry about you. He didn't have to worry about nobody. So he wasn't being a leader. He was being himself. But to be a lead means there's people behind you. And a lot of men don't know or not aware of that because they never had people behind them. So as your woman in his life that's behind him, you got to also teach him how it's supposed to go. You got to play your role in regards to how it works as well.
So do you think if women want to take a man personal or take him seriously, then they need to lead in submission?
Yeah,
like lead with submission.
I feel like with relationships and marriage, like ultimately, like you have to be if you're with somebody good, decent, and all that, not all that bullshit about these other niggas. But if you have a decent man, yes, in a relationship or in marriage, yes, you have to be submissive. Again, be aware of what submission is, because a lot of people don't even know that. So that's why they're quick to be like, oh no, I'm not submitting. But that's neither here nor there.
But in dating, do you think that you have to be submissive to an extent?
Yeah, you're a woman. If people want to claim they want to live in their soft feminine life, that means that you're not acting like a nigga. That means some aspect of it, you do have to kind of be the calmness. You do have to be in that state where you're sitting there and you're actually listening to what the man is saying, taking it all in regards to understanding. Not just automatically shooting him down because you're jumping to the fact, oh, this nigga probably don't know how to fucking lead. So
How does that look like? How does that look in dating then?
I feel like a lot of that just leads with being, I feel like a lot of women are not as calm as they should be, or they're not as intentional a lot of times with the men that they're really looking for.
And that's why you have to learn to love yourself first. So you can.
Oh man.
So Asia, what do you think? How does it look like in dating? Like, do you think you have to lead in being submissive in order to make that mesh happen?
Dating or actual relationship?
Well, no, because you're saying, because how does it? Y'all get on my fucking nerves, man.
But when I jumped in, you screamed at me.
Clarify what he said.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Asia.
So dating, no, because we're not submitting to a boyfriend. Now to my husband, absolutely will submit. Absolutely. I'm not submitting to a boyfriend. And so, like I said almost an hour ago, when I submit or I put in a position of being under a man, it's because he's proven something to me in the dating stage for me to even say yes to him being my husband. When I make him my husband, it's because he's proven something to me, which is leadership. And leadership looks different for different people. But he's already shown me in the dating phase what that looks like. He looks like as a leader. And when I asked a long time ago, what does leadership, how do y'all define leadership, meaning the men, I never got the answer. But that's very important. What does leadership look like? Because some men may think leadership looks like being very dominant. It's not being a leader. Leadership is being strategic. I think.
Can I ask a question, Asia? I think.
Hold on, Nay.
Okay, so go ahead.
So, Asia, in that you're saying he has to do all this proving. When did you prove you could be submissive?
So again, I'm not going to submit. Will I listen to him? Absolutely. Will I be respectful? Absolutely. But submitting, that's a different there. And you know, there's levels of submission. Put it that way, right? So
you would submit in an instance, like in some instances, like you would show him that you could be submissive.
Because there are levels to it, right? There's definitely levels to submission. So yes,
right.
I would show that because he's earned my trust. By little minor things. I'm not saying jump through hoops of fire, but yes, there are levels of submission. I would show that I can be. I would close my mouth up quicker the next time than I did the last time. Yes. Or I wouldn't necessarily try to exert my opinion as strongly the next time as I did last time because you know, we've been through things, we discussed things. So yes, I would definitely show it because I know he wants to see me. Am I a good wife? Would I be a good wife? I'm saying during this time as well. We're testing each other. We're seeing each other work. It works.
That's kind of what I was gonna say here. Basically, what you said. Like, so the man has to show leadership in dating, but we don't have to show submission in dating. You lost me that part. Like, I'll be rocking with you, girl, but I was a little lost in that part because I was like, you have to show some level before you can even get to the husband and wife stage. So you have to kind of show a level of submission. And he has to show a level of leadership before you can say, okay, will you be my wife? And she's like, yes. You have to show it in some sort of way. I was kind of going to say the same thing as you, Ham. Okay.
So would you say that women do look to men for leadership then? You guys just don't have faith that we can.
I did.
You guys just don't have faith that we can.
We all said that. I will say this, Sam, not to interrupt you, but we literally, all of us on the panel said that we do look. But then we gave the part 2, which was differing between us, but we all said, besides Q, we all said yes.
Yeah, the reason I didn't say yes is because I answered the fucking question that's scrolling on the bottom. He rephrased the question, so yeah.
No, I put just now or this part?
How y'all were continuing to talk about it was talking about whether or not women actually do it versus if there's a need. So my question was speaking more towards the need, which is why I came up with the historical government shit. But yeah,
Okay.
y'all continue.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I just be curious. I just be so curious about how extreme people think submission really is in a relationship. Like, because I feel like you guys look at it so extreme. Like, shut up when I'm talking.
They do.
And you better be crawling on me on all four. Like, that
Nobody said that. Nobody said
play
that.
that's different.
Nobody
But
said.
no, I'm saying the way you guys make it seem is that submission is so extreme.
No, there's levels to submission. But I said there's levels to submission. I definitely said that.
Why is there levels to submission? Shouldn't she submission just one thing?
But you said I will not submit to my boyfriend.
And then I said there are levels to submission. I said, so the next time I'll keep my mouth shut quicker and I won't sit there and get my opinion so strongly the next one than the last time. So I said I would submit.
But don't you see why it gets so confusing when we ask you things? Because you just gave
provide clarifying statement. No, I'm providing clarifying statements.
No, you changed your answer completely because
No,
one answer was I will not submit to my boyfriend.
Correct. I will submit to my husband.
I gave a clarifying statement. My husband a little bit. I mean, to my boyfriend a little bit. So which one is it? Are you really not until you have a husband, or will you do it just a little bit until he wants to be your husband? That's why it's confusing, because you're giving two different answers. One is
change your answer.
There's really no gray area with it. It's either yes or no. If you would submit to your boyfriend a little bit, then don't say I would never submit to my boyfriend, only my husband. That's just all I'm asking for. You can't get mad because we're cutting you off and jumping in and all that when what you say is contradicting.
There's levels to it on this healing journey.
It's a self-love. It's a self-love.
Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I think Q kind of hit it in terms of how the question is phrased, but I think we slightly disingenuous in saying that we look to men for it and we want it, but I think we assume that men aren't doing a good job at it, and I still got to figure out how women are the experts on what leadership looks like.
I mean, to each their own, I think, but I do think going into it with a negative connotation, you'll never get the results you look for. You desire because you already ruled them out.
Chief, you ever have a kid run a play, right? And it's a play they don't like. So when they run the out route, they run it at 60%. So of course the ball doesn't get to them or it gets intercepted. They're like, see, I told you it didn't work. No, motherfucker, you didn't run it at 100%.
Right.
Of course it's not going to work.
Right.
You know?
So I feel like that to that parallel, which is, you know, women walk into it at 60%, expecting it to work.
Yeah. I think it's tough. But they saying that they come in and it as genuine as possible. But it just
reminds me of that whole 50-50 mentality. It's just like, 50-50, you know, no. If it's not 100-100, you're looking for it to fail. Whatever it may be, relationship, whatever. And I think the largest part of where women absolutely submit is their jobs. And most jobs are run by men. It's interesting that women can submit for that because it comes with a paycheck or whatever. But there's all this difficulty in switching it up, and there's levels to submission and all that when it comes to your man.
Yeah, we actually had a pod, if you remember, that said most of the women on the panel were saying they'd rather have a male boss or superior at their job. Because they say it's just easier to navigate and work through and work with. I think Nate said that.
I think submission is wired in to the fabric of women. I just think this modern context gives so many opportunities to be loose and escape it that it's more viable and interesting for that to happen. And I think a lot of Mary's points today was just like, you know, it's direct. You know what I mean? She's married, so she knows what that looks like. You know, Adrian knows what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And I noticed when Mary get a smoke, that shit hit different. I don't know, that shit. I gotta assess. I'm gonna watch it back. But when Mary giving that smoke, that shit hit different.
That's that Boricua.
All right, let me share my screen.
No man, because I have an OnlyFans and men pay my OnlyFans, and if anyone comes up to me, I'll call a male police officer. I don't need men. Shut up. Of course you do. You just named your whole life is based on men. The road you're driving on was paved by a man. The house you're living in was built by a man. The car you're driving was designed by a man. Your whole life depends on men. And the second anything bad were to happen to you, the second you were physically threatened, or times were to get hard, or war were to start, or famine, or riots, the first thing you do is find a big strong man, shit yourself, and throw the feminism out the window.
I do need a man, for example, to procreate. But other than that, I'm quite strong, and I would find a way to protect myself.
Danelda, what would you do if one of these security guards broke into your door?
What would I do? Okay, I'll tell you.
What would you do? What would
One,
you do? No, seriously,
she's a feminist.
I'll tell you. No, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I'm a bit smarter.
Do women still need men for protection?
Hell yeah, absolutely. 100 million%.
What you think, Q?
Nope. Because I don't know if y'all recall, there was a Saturday show that you did, and it was speaking to something of this effect. And I was mentioning how, and please don't nobody on the panel take no disrespect to this. I know y'all all strong and can whip ass for real. So I'm not talking about y'all. But I was saying how there's quite a few niggas that be just as scared as the women in certain situations.
Oh, absolutely.
And not for nothing, there are women who do, I think, know how to defend themselves in certain instances. Of course, you're gonna have your typical docile women or more feminized woman, but there's women knowing how to pull guns. There's women who will throw hands. So it depends on who you're in a situation with. But as far as I'm pretty sure right now with the state of our society, if there was to be a home invasion situation in America from some people from another country, there's quite a few niggas that's gonna be hiding behind the couch before they're ready to just go to that door and see and put themselves out there and be like, yo, they got to take me first. And that's me speaking from anecdotal experience. So no, I don't think women still need men for protection. I think women are okay, and I think at that point, both of y'all life at risk if the nigga scary.
So you're saying that the women can fight, tussle, and tote guns, so they don't need men anymore?
They can, but at the same time, what purpose does the man serve for them if he cannot protect them? I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So there's no need for something you can't do. That's like putting a woman with a child and being like, can children still protect their mothers? That's not really like naturally that's not the inclination. So you really gonna sit there and wait for this child to protect you? Like nowadays, we really sitting back waiting for niggas for full protection. Like that's kind of my mentality. You be better off sometimes taking care of shit by yourself.
Okay. So, but you're saying because they're capable at this juncture to take care of it by themselves, they might as well just do so, and therefore they don't need the man.
It's either that or you know what I mean. You damned if you do, damned if you don't type shit.
Because you're saying a lot
think about that. Think about how many men in society carry guns for protection that they don't have. They're not going to use their voice to calm a situation. They're not going to revert back to using hands. They carrying guns. That's a form of fear. Well, you can't like just have a fair one with somebody. You have to have a gun for a fair one situation.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Who else? What you think, Adrian?
No, you carry a gun because other niggas carrying guns too. That don't got nothing to do. We would fight all the time, but now if I go somewhere, I gotta carry a gun. So I don't think that has anything to do with being scary.
Yeah, are you afraid? Are you afraid to die? Is that why you carry the gun?
I carry a gun because I have to protect myself and I have my family to worry about.
Right, but are you afraid to die? Let's say they pulled their gun first. Because you know the gun is really not protecting you, right?
What do you mean? You said a gun won't protect me?
It's really not the gun that's protecting you. If they pulled their gun first, are you afraid to die?
No, I'm not afraid to die.
Okay, then that was the question. God damn it, go ahead.
That wasn't the phrase. It said, "Do
that's
women
what
still
that's the
need men for protection?"
you, and you kept going around it.
All right. Anyway, do women still need men for protection? Absolutely. Absolutely. And because as a woman, you're designed to grow up from the time that you're small to be protected, right? So not just in a relationship, just in general. And how we was hitting on before, y'all don't even know what that looks like. And now look at where we are at now. We're at a place where it's literally men and women like at war, to where women are try to be more manlier than a man because they haven't had that protection. So y'all still need it. Y'all just got to a place to where it's easy. It's accepting that you don't need it, so you don't got to deal with the feelings that come along with that vulnerability.
I wanted to say something. And in my anecdotal experiences, I've never really had protection from a man. I've had ones that want to tote a gun but ain't gonna pull it. I've actually been more protected by women than I ever have by men. That's just my anecdotal experience. So I really fucks with what you said, Q. Thank you very much. That's all I want to say.
I feel like, do women still need men for protection? Yes. Do I feel like we have it? No. Do I feel like it's as easily accessible as it was back in the day, like we talked about on previous podcasts? No. But can I defend myself? Absolutely. But would I rather have a 6'3" nigga come knock this nigga out that's trying to, press up on me and shit that I don't want in my face? Absolutely. Am I going to hope that's going to happen if I'm being attacked by a man and I don't have the strength to take him down? Because women, you cannot be a decent man. You cannot. It's not going to happen. So do I feel like I'm going to look at somebody crazy if a nigga attacking me and then the nigga that's standing right there is not doing nothing? Hell yeah. Because at that time, I needed a man to protect me. But I just feel like we don't have it.
Right, but what if the 6'3" nigga is scrawny and he not a fighter? What's the point? That was kind of what I was saying.
I wouldn't even care if you distracted the nigga. I'm running. I don't care if you came and you punched this nigga one time and ain't do shit. The nigga is off of me. I can get the fuck up out of here.
But the thing is, a lot of times, and this is no disrespect to Adrian either, about like women are trying to be more masculine. A lot of times that is not the case. And so you have to look at it but you have to look at it from that perspective of when you don't have these men stepping into these roles, you looking at it like, nigga, we just about to fight this nigga. Like you kind of like equaling out in that moment. Because a lot of people be scary as fuck.
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. What I'm saying is, do we need it? Absolutely. Do we need men to be better men so that we do have that protection? Absolutely. Yeah. We do need it.
Do we have it?
We can't be out here just fighting. I could shoot. When I tell you I could shoot for real.
So you the protector, Mary.
But if I'm being attacked in that moment, I'm not going to be able to do shit. Because you already in my space. I can't reach, grab, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times women are being attacked by people that they know casually. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to be on that defense. So what's going to help you is some niggas that's at the bar and they not with that shit.
And I will be clear about that. You're absolutely right. Women are not stronger than men naturally, right? Men are stronger than women by default. And I like to stress that a lot to these girls who like to be extra and jump in niggas' faces and think that it's okay to hit a man first and all this other shit because if you hit him and he tries to hit you back, somebody gonna protect you. No, you about to get washed unless you really know how to fight for real. So I will always say that, but for there to be that protection and I mean, there's like, you watch shit going viral now where women be getting attacked and it be niggas around and nobody's doing anything. People have learned to mind their business. So again, another part of my anecdotal experience saving this woman's life who was getting the shit beat out of her by her boyfriend, and there were men around. Nobody did anything. So,
and that's why I feel like we need to require it more. I feel like, do we need it? Yes, but we don't have it. And that's why it should be a bigger standard than what it is today. You shouldn't be still fucking with the bitch ass nigga that let some wild shit happen to you and didn't do nothing. I don't
Talk to him, Mary.
it happened 2 days ago. If I come home and tell my husband, first of all, he's gonna curse me the fuck out for not saying something when I was at the scene. Second of all, he's still gonna get shit done, no matter how many days down the line it is. Women still need that safe space. Y'all want a safe space. Y'all want this, but it's just we have to require it as well. So again, like we need it, but we just don't have it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
I agree to it to an extent. I think Q's on point with this disregard, man, and this. I would say it's a recent thing in the last 15 to 20 years where these cell phones have just taken over, and like we've all seen these videos. If it's not the police or a group of niggas jumping some dude or even a chick, even more disgusting, most motherfuckers are standing around looking. They just are, right? Would I agree that all women are okay just protecting themselves? No, I think that's a very minute minority of women who know how to either shoot or throw hands. It's good for them. I think more women need to learn how to do self-defense. I think all women should own a weapon, and I think y'all should use it according to whatever the situation is. I'm not saying be out here killing people, but understand that, you know, it's better that you have it than be without it. You know, Chief, Mr. White, y'all could correct me on this, but like, I don't know, man. I've jumped in, usually just with my voice alone, like presence-wise or some Bronx shit, but like sometimes it doesn't even need to get past that. But if it needs to get physical, I have already accepted that I'll get hurt, or I might get hurt, or whatever, or I'm going to do the hurting. But I think, like Mary said, if it gives the women or the children around me, whatever the situation is, an opportunity to get the hell away, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for that type of shit. Like, because you don't know what these niggas got. You don't know if they got knives, guns, or whatever. But at least if I can say I can protect whatever around me, you know, I think Hamp will agree, having, you know, several kids, wife, all of that, like, I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree. I think just I don't know if I can answer the question, but I know just how I was raised, and just instinctively as men, I think we're brought up under a purpose, under a guise of protect and provide. Period. Like, if I've come more to what my purpose is, but initially it would be protect and provide. So regardless of what's going down, like if I can beat the nigga up or not, like my job is to protect you. So that's initially what I'm going to do, regardless of what it looks like. And as far as like carrying, you know, weapons and whatnot, I carry my gun everywhere I go, but that's because my brother was murdered over nothing. Niggas will think about shooting you before you think about fighting them. You dig what I'm saying? So I think that's more of a reason why I carry, just to always err on the side of safety. But again, instinctively for me, it's just protect and provide. And regardless of what that looks like, how it looks like, if I can just, you know, talk us out of this problem, I'll do that. If I got to put my hands and feet on the nigga, then it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isha, what up? I thought you was on a world tour.
I'm tired.
That last one must have not went so well.
No, it was with my friend. It was fine. I was calling it a night. I've been up. I went to breakfast, I went to lunch, and then dinner, and I'm home. I'm tired.
Man, I hope you get constipated. So what you think about do women still need protection?
I do.
Men for protection?
I do. I'm not a shooter, and I'm not a fighter. You know, I'm going to protect my son, you know, but I need somebody that's going to protect me. But I also grew up with an older brother who was not going to let anybody try to harm me, male or female, my stepfather. So I've had those men in my life that showed me that men are supposed to protect women. Even my younger brother, he's a big dude. And his presence in itself is scary. But those are just the type of men that I grew up around. So those are the type of men that I look for when I'm dating. If I'm not dating no man that I can't see protecting me. If I feel like I can whip his ass. No, that's not going to happen. So I think, but I think a lot of men too look away from like women, if someone's outside and they ask B, a lot of men turn their back because a lot of these women are going back to these men. So why would I risk my life to step in and try to save you when you going back to these men? So
Yeah. What you think, Asia?
So, did we ever? Did we ever? And the reason why I say that is because, you know, the laws were for the man. And so women couldn't carry guns, women couldn't practice self-defense, and a lot of women used to need protection from their man anyway, because the laws protected them. So they could whoop their tails, they could cheat, they could do everything they wanted to do. So did we really ever? Again, if you protect me, it's not just in a physical sense. Protect my emotions, protect my mental, protect my spirit. And I don't want just people to think that it's just brute force. I value protection emotionally, spiritually, and mentally more than anything. So to answer your question, absolutely is yes. We still do need men for protection. Protect me spiritually, mentally, and emotionally.
How about physical?
And I don't really need that. I mean, we can pop guns, you know, whatever. We can pop guns. We can shoot arrows, you know, like y'all can.
Need
But
somebody to protect
I
them
value.
too.
I mean, now trust me, I don't want to fight. I'm not a big fighter like that, honestly. So if I can get my man to fight for me, please do. Like, handle that. Like, ugh. I'll talk my way out of it before I start throwing hands. But yes, physical, I prefer you to fight for me because I don't feel like it. Listen, Hamp's not my man, but if we were out somewhere and a fight went down, I'd be like, Hamp, get him. And I would feel comfortable. I really would get him. I'm good. And I dare you to say something about it. Like, I might even talk a little bit junk.
Man, Hamp always been ready to fight.
Right.
No, when he was young, he always been ready to fight.
Well, you know what? All of them on the panel, though, I think I would be comfortable. Honestly, the way you all present yourself, all of y'all on the panel, I would be comfortable with it. Oh, child. Married. I ain't married. Look, you throw hands with that mouth. You can throw. Yes, you can throw that mouth.
So, question. You talked about the various levels of protection regarding your emotion and all the good stuff and mentally and so on and so forth. Hypothetically speaking, you in a situation where shit gets rowdy in the bar, in the club, wherever you at, and your dude is being disrespectful, and where we from, we don't allow that. We known to just punch him in his face, but your man just says, you know what, we ain't about that. Let me just grab you and your man take you and you guys leave. Do you still consider that being protected, or is he now soft because he didn't punch the dude in his mouth?
So that's a great question. And so the ego in me, we be like, nigga, punch a nigga in his face. But the other side of me is, we gotta live another day. You could lose a whole lot more by getting into a fight with him than just walking away. So what if he gonna sit there and talk junk? So what? But we got to go home and continue to build this life and go on this upward trajectory. So I like to think now I am a lot more emotionally mature and not to care about, nigga, so what if you talk junk? Like, I'll probably talk about junk more than him, but so what? You.
Can I point that direct? Can I ask Mary that question? Because Mary seemed like she got a nigga spirit. So
no, yo. When I be telling y'all, y'all know my husband, I be trying to talk him out of it. Like, the first thing he think of is, I'm about to knock this nigga out. Listen, somebody could cut us off in the road. Like, he don't care how big, how small. He don't give a fuck what color you is. He don't give a fuck if you male or female. It's on. Like, my husband is an on-site type of nigga. I try to talk him out of it. I'm like, that's not the best way to go. Let's just leave. Everything's gonna be all right.
You're Aquarius gang.
Yeah, that's what it is. That Aquarius shit. I swear to God.
So, Mary, you be assessing the situation. That's what it is. You assess the situation so that it don't go down. He's to protect you, though.
My husband will fully assess the situation before I even walk in the room. I'm not ever walking in first.
That's still protection, though.
Exactly. That's my protection, but it doesn't have to be physical for me. I try to talk it down, because this whole shit might blow the fuck up or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So we gonna keep him calm and I talk him out of it. I personally, on his end, don't like for it to get physical. My choices are different other times, but for him, because I know he go from 0 to 100, I'd rather talk him out of it.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I think the need is there, whether or not we want to recognize it. All that violent shit that women claim they want to do, I don't really believe it. I don't really believe women want to be out here stabbing and shooting niggas. That's a totally different ball game. And you can have a gun and go to the range, but if you never shot a piece of meat, how do you know? Like when people are in duress, Mike Tyson told us everybody got a plan till they get hit in their shit. And we realized women in the infantry wasn't successful. Right? There's a different emotional responses and things of that nature. Yeah. So specifically Israel, Israel, right? Because you have to go to the military. And so they had women in the infantry, but the male responses weren't good to it. And then the handling of weapons is different, the weight of the pack, so on and so forth. To Q's point in terms of the physical nature. But there's another covering, like for instance, my wife, if she goes out, they know her association. Association can be highly protective too. Oh, this such and such wife, let me make sure she's straight. Oh, don't fuck with her because this is such and such wife, so on and so forth. And then the clip, I know he was running through a lot of shit, but a lot of times women will say they don't need protection this day and age. But what happens is you just call another man to deal with the situation, i.e. the police. If somebody runs in your house, I'm going to ask a fair question. Do you want them to send 2 women police officers or 2 men police officers? If your man wilding in your crib and 2 other women show up, what you going to say?
I want the most qualified, and the reason why I'm saying I've seen people sit there and say,
Am I muted?
Stop the cap. They want to get home to their family. They
Stop the cap. I respect. I respect your theories and thoughts, but you know good and damn well you got to do up in your crib while. Stop the cap.
I like that new one here. I like that new one. So the reason why I said that, so of course you want a male, but I've seen way too many male police officers that try to de-escalate by talking and don't really, I mean, they really can't, because nowadays they can't, right? And they really be trying to de-escalate by they talking and whatnot because of society pressures now. But I've seen some women police officers get in people's junk for real. I have. So that's why I said that it's qualified. And after I said that, Chief, I'm not just capping. I'm saying it because I've seen it. I want to get home to my family. And
so I respect the clarification.
Don't ask another question, but clarifying question, Asia. When you saw the police women getting in people's junk, were they getting in men's faces?
Yes,
exactly. Because women do that now to men because they don't expect it to get punched in their mouth.
It was both. Camp, I swear to you, you know where I live at.
You say yes or both?
Huh?
I know you've seen men toss women police officers. I know you've seen.
Hold on, Mary, real quick. I want to ask you, Mary, real quick. Damn, you said what to what?
No, I was saying in those instances, the female officers were getting in the faces of men.
I've seen
men. Women do that to. What I'm saying is, women do that to men now because they know they can do it for free.
I've seen it do it to both. Is what I'm saying. So they get to men and to women. You know where I live at. I've seen it both. Where the women police officers, they're big and strong and they look real like they ready, like bus drivers, and they have gotten in men and women's faces. You know what I'm talking about when I say they're built like bus drivers. Security guards.
Man, shout out to all the bus drivers, man. Chief, what was your question?
No, Mary had a question. No, I was gonna get back to Mary.
No, she didn't answer your question. She elaborated on it. She didn't answer the question.
What was the question? Ask it again.
About if something went down in the crib and 2 female officers showed up, would you have preferred 2 men?
I thought she did answer.
Mary, I did answer. I did.
Yeah,
what'd you say? What'd you say, Adrian?
I said the most qualified.
Yeah, but
what would you say, Adrian?
No, not most qualified. I'm just trying to figure out
what would your. Okay.
I'm really not being funny.
I'm just curious what preference would be. What preference would it be if you had a choice to choose 2 qualified women, 2 qualified men? What would you choose?
the best qualified because they both got guns, they both got tasers, they both got batons. And a lot of men, some of them are scared. I've seen it. Why don't you understand?
So if you got a man, so Asia, let's just get this straight. You got a man wilding in your house. You just saying police can show up. You don't give a damn about the gender. Okay.
Lord,
because they can shoot him. The women police officers can shoot the man's wilding out in my house too. They have the same guns the male police officers do. So
but we live in DC though. We live in DC though, Asia.
Correct, we do.
They don't pull their guns, and he doesn't have a weapon. He just wilding.
Good point. They can't shoot.
Didn't you say you have a gun too?
I have one too. Sure do. So I'm gonna shoot him first because I'm allowed. Because I'm a homeowner. I'm a registered card carrier.
Oh, you going to jail?
No.
Yes, you are.
Mary, let me talk to you since you're listening to me.
That's Florida.
DC. I'm going DC.
Be careful. DC, you know you can't shoot nobody.
If I feel like my life is in danger, I took the classes. Yes, you can, Ham.
I just want to let you know. The food ain't good in prison.
I'm telling you what was taught to me. If you feel your life is in danger, you are allowed to shoot.
They do not have stand your ground in DC.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not if your life is in danger. It's if you can prove your life was in danger when it comes to DC. So
Correct.
if you
I can prove
that
it.
your life was in danger, you're going to jail.
I sure can. I sure will be able to prove it. I
But
walk around my house naked, so I can prove it. I feel like he's going to do something to me.
That's outside of the hypothetical, but Asia, I'm just letting you know. I hope you got a microwave in that level 3 you going to. You're gonna need it. I'm just telling you that straight up. So Q, if you had an option, somebody wilding in your crib, right? You don't want to shoot them, shit like that. So you call the Jakes. You rather male police officer show up or a female police officer?
If it's two,
It's one.
one officer. Damn, that's a hard question.
And it's a nigga wilding in your crib.
Yeah, I must still have to go with this one. I will go with the female just because I feel like she would be more inclined to take out everything that she has on this nigga, because I feel like if a guy comes, he may be looking at it as the man is being victimized. So that's just based on my experience, and he may be a little bit more empathetic, which would put me in a bad position regardless of the situation. But a woman, especially like female cops, to me, not all of them, but a lot of them tend to have their own qualms with men. So I just feel like she gonna be on some shit.
So you're saying she got animosity?
Yeah, exactly. So I feel
and I'm listening. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm listening to what you're saying, Q. And I actually agree with that because I personally believe in fear, women are more than a man is. So I always feel like a woman will shoot your ass before a man will.
But that's not. These are police, though.
Even
These
down
are police.
but even down to a taser, I feel like she'll pull it way quicker than a male cop would pull it on another man.
And that man gonna let his guard down. He gonna try to finesse that female cop first. He really gonna try to finesse her at first. His ego gonna be all in the way. If it's another man, his ego in the way. But with a woman, he gonna try to finesse her, and his guard is down. She gonna pull it. That's just what
That sounds so crazy. If he get a hold of her, he gonna fucking do it.
You just
He gonna do the wop. He gonna do the wop with her.
Point to make your point about like the need, but you're asking a real question. That's a real answer right there.
I believe because your mind don't work right, so I believe that that's your answer for sure. Your mind be wilding sometimes. Sometimes you turn off half of it, then you turn on one other half. This shit.
You're a man, so naturally, if you're in that situation, to my point, a guy's gonna be more inclined. A male cop may be more inclined to help you. You got to think how shit has been twisted so much with society now, especially with a lot of these women crying wolf in situations. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily always coming to protect the woman no more. It's not like years ago.
What? Damn, wow.
Y'all don't let that all
experience. She ain't lying.
My experience.
That's a good point, Q, because just like they said, women have animosity towards men. It's vice versa. Men have animosity towards women too. That's true. That's a good point. I'm glad you put that out there.
And you get yourself a crooked cop, gonna turn a blind eye to some bullshit.
Yep.
I'm good.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was a Jake and I walked in on the Lorena Bobbitt shit,
Jake.
I let him get his shit off for sure. I'm like, what she do to you? Yo, she cut my. Oh, go ahead. I'll be right. I'm gonna walk around the block. Yeah, that might be one instance. Do y'all know Lorena Bobbitt? I hope y'all.
Yeah, she done chopped his pee off. I
Yeah,
remember.
like
She got mad.
I might have to take a walk around the block. Like, yo, I'll be back in 20 minutes, bro. But damn, what's up, Mary?
Yo, if we being honest, if I'm in the crib and there's a nigga in there, we gonna say he big, like 6'5". I'm choosing a male cop and send a cracker too, because they gonna off this nigga. Like, if I'm being honest.
Wow.
Wow.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit
Man.
like that. Shit like that.
We ain't worth a damn thing. All right, so if you had to choose, Isha, all female military or all male military, what you choosing?
All male. All male.
Let me ask somebody else with some sense. Chef,
Yeah.
you choosing an all female military or all male military?
It is statistically proven that women in military positions fail dramatically, and now you got Batiman and Trans in the army, bruh.
Wow.
No, the lead general, one of them lead generals is a transbender. Shit is crazy out here. This nigga's wearing military dresses, got a whole Adam's apple. Shit is crazy, bruh. Like,
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
the U.S. military, son. Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy, son. You need an all-male military in order to defend your country. And it's not to, before Asia gets in there, also women are weak. No, don't twist my shit up. We have grown-ass niggas in heels talking about, let's go to war. Like, no. That shit, no. All-male military.
Damn.
That
What
shit's
you
crazy.
think, love? Same question.
I believe that generals, lieutenants, ones in charge, doing strategy should be the women, and then let the men be the what they call
Where the fuck is the put him in the bathroom button?
Put him in the fucking bucket. Get him out of here. Come on.
Yo, come on.
Just be saying shit, man.
This shit sounds crazy, man.
Do you want to know why I said it? Do you want to know why I said it? You want my supporting argument?
Why?
Nah.
Women are very strategic, right? Women are very, very strategic. And the generals and the lieutenants and all those making the decisions above aren't worried about getting the most money and getting the most land. They're about winning for the greater
Yes, the
good.
fuck y'all are. We're talking about salaries the other.
So the men, let them be the foot soldiers and hold the guns. Somebody said there, I forgot who said it. They can pop the guns quicker and faster and harder and the bigger guns, whatever. Let them be on the foot soldiers and shooting and whatnot.
But logic lends itself to war. Women aren't as logical as men, right? Stereotypically. Huh?
I just said that. Women are strategic and logical. What do you mean?
Well, no, what I'm saying, but the statistics wouldn't support that. Science doesn't support that women are more logical than men.
Where are you getting this stat from?
So we at war, and it's your time of the month. We're supposed to take 3-4 days off that war.
Bruh.
We were fighting. I said we're being strategic and telling y'all niggas what to do and where to go because we can see a lot further than you can. We are visionaries. Women are visionaries naturally.
So while you on the couch and niggas is out here dying,
I'm not
you
sure women, you know, that be
drinking
laid up
soup
with
and eating
fibroids
chocolate.
and whatnot and lay up for 3 days
and still organized.
That ain't everybody, okay?
What are you talking about?
Because, you know, laid up no, nigga, he sat there and said, laid up on the couch bleeding. Like, what? Fibroids? No.
we lose the war.
We can sit there
How
and
you strategizing if you watching you on Netflix and niggas is outside dying?
Ridiculous.
You just gonna be giving orders while you healing up?
And because of what you're saying right now, Eddie, y'all shoot guns. And let me be strategic and sit there and talk and be logical because you sound real crazy right now.
Do you know how many branches to the military there are?
Thank you, Chef Shrimp. You right.
I have multiple family members in the military. Like, you would not make it.
Okay. And would you?
Absolutely.
You sure? Because you're really emotional.
I'm in the see, we just talked about this again at the beginning of the show.
That's not insult. You are emotional.
We
You
just talked about this shit.
Whenever
a woman is losing the argument to a man, she reverts to the same typical response. You're emotional. You're doing too much. Who hurt you? Like that shit is like, come on, man. That shit is old.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
If General Asia was the fucking leader of the U.S. military, the way you think, we'd be fucked. Right?
An awesome country.
We'd be fucked.
Winning.
Yeah, it just takes women too long overall to get to decisions.
Get to the point, son.
The indecisive nature of women, even the jokes. See, stereotypes come about for a reason. And as an example is, what happens? Your wife or your girl say she don't want nothing to eat. As soon as you get home, what happens? She picking through your shit. What you got? Yada yada. You at the restaurant. She want to taste your shit first before hers. That doesn't just correlate to eating food. That correlates to real decision making. Women are indecisive naturally.
So let me say this. I think women show a lot of constraint, right? Real ones do. Because I have shown mad constraint.
It's a comedy show.
So again, if General Asia was running the United States,
we'd be fucked.
Show great restraint, because I've shown great restraint tonight.
Restraint in what?
Episodes.
But restraint in what though?
Putting myself on mute and not responding, getting pulled into nonsense.
I don't
basically
know
men are gonna think, they're gonna think very quickly, which is not always a bad thing, but you're gonna think so quickly that you may not be thinking it fully through. We're gonna analyze, we're gonna be organized in our thought
People are
process.
dying. People are dying.
No, because we know how to multitask. We can be laid up on the couch in pain, and women can be laid up on the couch in pain and still gonna do the damn job.
What in the world are you talking
And
about?
run the household.
You know how many women that work for me I had to send home because they was in a 28-day cycle?
That's
they couldn't stand up for 30 minutes.
And weak heifers. I don't do that. We're gonna still try to figure out something. We're gonna still be thinking about it, and we're gonna strategize the entire time. And we're gonna say, y'all go ahead, since y'all want to be protectors, go ahead and go protect us. But we're gonna tell you how to do it.
You know what's so crazy about this? This is so unproven, considering women don't even do no hard jobs, let alone the military.
Like what? There's women in construction. I know some. There's women that are police.
What are you talking about? Don't start that foolishness.
Those are hard jobs.
You never seen a woman on
the signs.
Yeah, they hold the signs. You never seen a woman on the jackhammer?
I had one from college. She runs a whole construction company in Philly with her mom.
Call her, and I'm gonna tell her no, she doesn't.
Okay. She don't.
Fucking ice cream stand next to where they were doing
No,
construction.
She does renovation. And she's mad pretty. She does renovation. Jackhammer doing it all.
Do you know? And I said
jackhammer. Go ahead, Angelique. Okay, up in West Philadelphia doing the damn thing.
Jackhammer. That's and I said jackhammer.
But
you can't control a jack.
No goddamn jackhammer.
Women doing it. Y'all just mad. Y'all mad because we know how to do everything.
No, you don't.
We know how to do a lot of stuff. Yes, we do.
Based on the numbers, you don't. Based on who does the jobs, you don't.
That's why y'all don't get paid the right amount. The shit like this.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit
you
like
want to
that.
prove so bad you can do it.
I'm more cheap.
Y'all can't be multitask. Y'all are one dimensional. Y'all just gonna stick to this. Y'all
gonna it ain't about one dimensional though, man. Maybe that's why I'm single. This type of shit. I keep running into this type of shit.
Eddie, that's why you're single.
Eddie,
you're right. That's why you're single.
Once you submit to it, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I feel you. I need to go into a position of what was the word? Substance. What was the word?
Submission or self-love?
Submission.
No, you don't need to submit to a woman. You should know. You should know.
No, what was the bullshit y'all said at the beginning of the show?
Stop being bitter, though, Eddie. That's what you should do. You should really stop being bitter. It comes through a lot in
what
what
makes
you
you bitter.
I'm not bitter at all. Self-love. That was the nonsense that I said earlier. Yeah, that's what it is. Q. I'm gonna go into a space of self-love and start lying to myself and doing all that other stuff.
Start loving you, Eddie, and you will
Right.
attract love.
Why?
Love thyself.
Why?
That's the real type of love.
Question though, why when Eddie? Because I know you guys are those his your truth people, right? Like you believe in people telling their truth or some bullshit like that.
Right.
So with that said, why when Eddie speaks his truth, why is he all these things when he could be
There,
speaking it from his
I'm
experience?
broken.
Why don't we respect it?
So his truth can be coming from a place of bitterness, though, right? And still his truth, right? That's understandable. It's still his truth, but it's coming from a place of bitterness.
But yours sounds the same as
So-
his, Asia.
So it does absolutely does not, because
can you
I have
verify
said
for him?
repeatedly how much I love men and respect men and want a man to lead. I've said
What
that.
podcast?
Repeat. Run them. I mean, I can send you the clips tonight and we got this one. Like, there's so many podcasts where I've sat there and said my final word at the end. We sit there and say the Jerry Springer thing. I've said, men, we need you. We want you. The world will be better with you than without you. I've said that plenty of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard Eddie say that about women. I have never heard Eddie say anything lovingly towards women. It is women don't have accountability. They're emotional. They can't lead. Like, there's a lot of things negative. I've never heard Eddie say anything positive about women. You can run it back. I have said I love men. I've said that plenty of times. I've said I need them. We need men. The world needs men. We need Black men especially. I've said that several times in my last final statements, and I will run it back to you, Hamp. I have never heard Eddie say that.
Well,
I'm
Asia,
down on that. So I do not like Eddie.
To paint the appropriate picture, you say y'all need to step up and do this and that. You be trying to give instructions to men based on what you think we should do. That's not the same thing as saying how valuable we are.
I'll send you the clip, and I promise you I'll send you the clip. I know for a fact I said it.
Send it to me.
Sure will.
And all that doesn't mean that I'm
I want you to
anti-woman.
replay it too, and I want you to replay it as well.
Right.
Yeah,
because I've said it.
I have a question.
Not having said something on this podcast does not mean that I'm anti-woman. I have clearly on multiple occasions said that I only date Black women, right? So just because I didn't go on some Langston Hughes soliloquy about Black women does not mean that I'm putting her down. None of that. What happens is that we can't be critical in any way, shape, or form about our own women. And it goes back to this larger discussion as to whether or not, we can be protective of y'all. It's just that makes it profoundly difficult when we get these type of critiques.
So
like I say, one thing that's remotely softly critical and it's I'm bitter, I'm broken, who hurt you, all these other narratives.
Women, Eddie, what do you love about Black women? Tell me what you love about Black
No,
women.
I'm not going into that trope, and that's another type of shit right there where you ask these level of questions when it doesn't satisfy. I've given you my response, and if it's not satisfactory, you could take a long walk off a short bridge. Like, that's what it is.
No problem. You answered my question, sir. Thank you.
I did answer your question.
I said you did. I said you answered my question. Thank you very much. See, stop being so angry. I said thank you. You did.
You can't even help it, son. 10 seconds didn't even go by. Stop being so angry. It's just it's some bullshit, man.
Adrian, what was your question?
My thing is just we got to be careful how much we keep saying men. Y'all don't need men. Like that's dangerous. That is so dangerous. It's already coming off like y'all don't need us to raise the kids. Y'all can do that by yourself, right? Now you're saying, hey, we don't need y'all to protect y'all. So as men are coming up and these younger adults, okay, y'all don't need me to do things, so we're not going to step in any of those situations because y'all don't need us. But then even with the with what Q said earlier about the nigga beating her ass and nobody jumped in, y'all needed a man to jump in. She needed a man to jump in, and I get that y'all don't have it. But the more y'all keep pressing at us that y'all don't need us, the further back we will continue to fall. So we got to be careful with having all of these different examples.
You missed her. No, go ahead.
I was saying that, it's just a lot of examples and cases in which, women are saying they don't need men. And we just got to be careful with that.
Yeah, no, it's real. Yeah, I saw a clip. They said that they learned how to fertilize an egg without sperm, and then the fertilizer they used didn't have any Y chromosomes, which means that no men would ever be born, which was totally bullshit. You find it in some insects where they can produce workers only, like mules. They die quickly. They can't reproduce. Worker insects that can do that, and then they manage to fertilize a mouse egg with dead mouse cells, which that's such a low fucking life form. Mice don't even have bones. Like, that's a stupid thing. But they took that and like, yeah, they fertilize an egg. No, bitch. It's a mice. It's a mouse. And these are insects. But people reach to your point, right? To try to say we don't need men. We don't need men. But we see in obvious situations, like, our value is still the same. I don't know. It's interesting, man. Any final thoughts on this one? Good. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now if you can. Once again, we are streaming on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook on our Facebook page. We also had a podcast popping. We got like 5,000 listens, right? That's how it should be on the podcast on Apple, Anchor, and Spotify in the last like 2 weeks. So something catching fire, you know what I mean? That's good for us. So shout out to us. Listen, man, I don't really like Jerry Springer, and all the links are in the description. I don't really like Jerry Springer, but I do like one of his constructs. Chief, final thought.
Oh man. We are I believe we are more needed than what people would like to acknowledge that we are. And I also believe that the men should look into what makes a good leader in all aspects of life, from work to relationships and whatnot, and then aspire to be that. But women should also define what that means to them and be able to effectively communicate that, so we can kind of meet them halfway. But walking into situations like that in a negative light will never help the relationship grow or your partner.
Word.
That's all I got.
No doubt.
I believe that men are still needed for protection. I need a man to still lead. And I think that's all I got today. And I'm 40, y'all.
Word. Yeah, man, you looking like you 38 though. I fuck with it. Chef?
Love of self, self-love, all those good things. There's nothing wrong with being openly critical about your wants, your needs, and don't allow anybody or anyone to remove that from you. There's no bitterness in that.
Miss Nay?
Men, we do need you. Don't get it misconstrued. We do need you, but we also need you to do some inner work and get some self-love, work on your self-love journey so that you can be effective leaders and effectively protect us women. Otherwise, you're going to find us going to the other side.
Mr. White?
Yeah, she was largely on the other side, though. That's what I mean. We spent 2 hours crushing us, and then you want to end off with a little 20 seconds. But we do need y'all. Man, listen, yo, man, we're valuable, yo. Keep striving to be the best version of yourself. Women need us. The world need us, even if they realize it or not. So continue to press forward.
Asia?
So we need each other. Men and women need each other. Men, from a woman's perspective, we need you. But men, you also need us. Where you're weak, we are strong. And where we are weak, you are strong. And that makes a stronger unit. And so I want to make sure that we practice loving each other collectively and individually. Love yourself individually so that you can know how to love me. If you don't love yourself, you can't love me. Self-love is very important. Love of self, self-love, whatever you want to call it, whatever connotation, it all boils down, making sure no harm comes to yourself spiritually, emotionally, mentally, or physically, and do the same for your partner.
Mary.
Black men, we need you. We want you. Just get y'all shit together a little bit more.
You know, we hear that so often, and it's a lot of propaganda. 51% of black men are single and childless. Right? Black men still make more money than black women. Black fathers are much more present, and you see that in a second generation NFL, NBA player, just as a small example, where their fathers are always there. But we continue to spew this and perpetuate this propaganda, talk about men got to do this and the third. We have, but there's still so many things pointed against us that are louder than our actual actions, and I feel like we need to stop that shit. Man, here's what you do: you get the yacht by grinding it out. She'll get on the yacht by being pretty. So know that and understand it. Work hard, lift weights, read books, get educated, make yourself as presentable as possible. And then the women will come. Don't focus on them, focus on your end goals and watch what happens. Don't listen to this shit. You become the real best version of yourself. I don't know about self-love. Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, and so Chief, let me say something to you real quick. This is my final thought, Chief. Jesus Christ. Cross-eyed ass. So I'm too busy talking shit. And see, in terms of the self-love thing, I think it can be seen as such, but it's a goal though, right? It's my path to success. If it looks like I'm loving myself, so be it, right? But I have purpose. That's what men need to focus on. Purpose and getting to that goal. If love happens to happen, so be it, right? But either way, you got to be successful and fend for yourself, right? Because we don't have all the handouts. So if it comes up as love, so be it. But thanks, Chief, for fucking up my beautiful final thought.
Yo, you walked right into the self-love topic, what we was talking about. So,
you had one job, Chief. Mute.
I did.
Yeah, man. I like it. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we out.